I've never been a regulator. Not a regulator nor a lawyer, unfortunately. So I'm not sure I can give you an adequate answer to that, but I'd be happy to think about it a little bit and get back to you.
That's great, Tim. Tim, there's a cell waiting for you next to Bernie Madoff. Or you could go the way of Enron's Clifford Baxter. Think about it. Okay, now it's time for the Max question. Should Israel pay back the $60 billion in gifts it took from the United States? That's the Max question. Now, over the past 20 years or so, Israel has taken about $60 billion in gifts from the American taxpayer. But the law says that America can't make gifts to any country with a nuclear bomb program. And Israel has more than 100 nuclear bombs. Let's take a look at this clip.
Well, Israel is one of the loudest voices calling for a tougher line on Iran's nuclear program, but Israel's own nuclear capability has never been put to inspection. Even so, this is what is known. Israel has 2 nuclear research centers at Dimona and Sarek. Latest estimates suggest Israel's produced at least 118 warheads with weapons-grade plutonium.
Therefore, in all fairness, Israel should repay the money they took from Americans illegally. That $60 billion could come in handy now with so many Americans on soup lines and living in their cars. Plus, why do so-called Americans like Warren Buffett invest in Israeli companies that are breaking all kinds of sanctions? Doesn't he have enough money without aiding war criminals and illegal occupiers? What do you think? Send me an email, keiserreport@rttv.ru, keiserreport@rttv.ru. Now let's turn to political analyst Stacey Herbert for today's top stories. Stacey, welcome back to the Keiser Report.
Good to be here, Max. I have some headlines that relate to the disposable people in America and those people who are impossible to dispose of, the likes of Timothy Geithner and the top elite bankers.
Yeah, you can't get rid of Tim Geithner. He's indisposable. He's indisposed. Who else? Who are these disposable people in America?
Well, the headline reads, "The Disposable Worker. Pay is falling, benefits are vanishing, and no one's job is secure." Next headline, job openings at record low, 50% fewer than 2007. So the disposable workers are this increasing trend in America for just-in-time labor force. They're calling them just-in-time labor force. That's the, I guess, the fun, optimistic way to say day laborer. So these people have no health insurance, no retirement benefits, no sick days, and no vacation days. They have no rights. They could just easily be disposed of and let go.
Well, yeah, they're disposable. And but I think that a lot of these disposable workers in America are looking at that trend in Japan for the sex robots to go with their disposable income status. This way that they can kind of pair up having their own robotic disposable existence and having a, disposable wife or lover as well. So you've got an entire nation of robots. Japan should benefit from this, I guess. But we can't think of Americans as having rights at this point. That's all over with. That's done. What else?
Well, the article also points out that the income for the 80% of the workforce that is non-supervisory and in production, their incomes have declined by 9% in real terms since 1973. And so their incomes are going down, their benefits are dropping, and now you have something like 660,000 people lost their job last month. So this is creating conditions that are very dangerous for young workers. Their unemployment rate is far higher than those over 55. And so young workers are resorting to something called semi-permanent internships. They're working for free on a semi-permanent basis.
Look, you can't have capitalism without capital, and you can't have capital without people actually making real money. No, it's not capitalism over there in America. It's democracy. What do you call them? Temporary, estranged cogs in a machine cluster? Beep. What is it again?
Semi-permanent interns.
Semi-permanent interns. It sounds like something to relieve constipation.
Well, it also sounds like neo-feudalism. You know, in the feudal times, you used to work for free. But at least your master, your lord, would feed you and house you.
How's our suppository salesman over in the UK, David Cameron, doing, by the way?
Now we go to the replaceable, the unreplaceable, the people that cannot be replaced or disposed of, and that's the top 1%, you might call them.
Toxic waste.
The lords. The bonus boom, reads the headline. Now, if you check out this chart, you see the red line at top. That's the average Wall Street bonus. Now, the blue line, the flat line at the bottom, is the median household income, and this goes back to the 1990s. So as you see, it's been quite a boom time for those collecting bonuses on Wall Street. And bonuses this year are expected to be $140 billion. That's bonuses from 2009. So this is up about 40% since you see that crashed a bit from the peak in 2007.
All's well in the casino gulag known as America. Well, I suppose a lot of these disenfranchised, disaffected workers will spend their life savings on Japanese sex robots. So the Japanese sex robots can make more than the actual workers in America. Think about it.
And then my final headline, bankers in the hot seat. So these are those people who are impossible to dispose of, but they give these headlines for the disposable people at the bottom to make them feel a little bit better.
Like Geithner, right? You can't get rid of him. He's
Yes.
like a bad rash.
Now, in the picture here, you see it's Jamie Dimon, Lloyd Blankfein, CEO of Goldman Sachs, John Mack, CEO of Morgan Stanley, Brian Moynihan, CEO of Bank of America. So they're being called before the Financial Crisis Commission, which is set to is now publicly hearing testimony from banking CEOs to find out what happened, how the financial crisis happened.
Gee, I wonder. A bunch of CEOs colluded. They swapped credit default swaps, the basic unit of accounting fraud. They gave themselves billions of dollars, and they disenfranchised the country. Let's see, what am I missing?
Well, actually, one of the people on the committee is a woman who was an analyst at Merrill Lynch, and she's quoted in the article as saying something to the effect that we don't know what caused the financial crisis. It's still open to interpretation.
Well, the problem is, Stacey Herbert, is that they're attacking this piece by piece by piece instead of understanding that the Merrill Lynch's, the Bank of America's, the Jamie Dimons, Lloyd Blankfein, the rating agencies, Moody's and S&P, the investment banks, the investment bankers, and the analysts and the fund managers all put them together, and you've got a criminal syndicate. And until you attack this as a criminal syndicate, you're never going to actually get to the bottom of the criminality here. And these, as you point out, you can't get them out of the system. They are basically cancer, and there's no cure for Jamie Dimon and Tim Geithner.
Well, this commission, the Financial Crisis Commission, is being likened to the 9/11 Commission. So they say they're seeking accountability, like the 9/11 Commission. Now recall, we just had this underwear bomber on Christmas Day. That guy got through because the 9/11 Commission report, their recommendations, none of them were followed through.
No.
So, and of course, it had no teeth. There were lots of big empty holes in the space of the 9/11 Commission report. So we could expect something like that with this financial services.
Another windfall profits for bankers as a result of You see, they point out their crimes, and what the bankers do is they just create insurance products to insulate themselves against their own crimes, and they make more money trading these products back and forth with each other, and they actually just make more money. So it's like trying to get rid of cockroaches by putting out a lot of food crumbs on the floor as a way to deter the cockroaches from, infiltrating and infesting your kitchen. Basically, this committee, the show trial, is just a matter of feeding the cockroaches on Wall Street and the City of London, let's not forget the City of London, even more free money.
But Max, you talk about show trials.
Yes.
There's another one coming up as well. House subpoenas Fed over AIG bailout.
House subpoenas Fed over AIG bailout, yes?
So California Representative Daniel Issa is, he was the one that got these emails from the New York Fed, which revealed that the New York Fed forced AIG to lie to the public and to the SEC about the dispersal of $62 billion in taxpayer money to Goldman Sachs and Societe Generale and a few other big banks. Well, now they're going to, he's subpoenaed Timothy Geithner to appear before Congress and testify about this 100 cents on the dollar being paid out to the taxpayer, to the banks.
Yeah, well, this is the smoking gun, isn't it? Geithner caught red-handed. Not only did he perjure himself earlier by saying he wasn't a regulator when he was regulating the New York Fed. In fact, should be in jail right now for that. But now it's come out that during his stay at the New York Fed, Geithner was coercing the system to disgorge taxpayer money to help out his friend Goldman Sachs.
Now, Daniel Issa also asked Neil Barofsky, the Special Inspector General for the Troubled Asset Relief Program, TARP. And now Neil Barofsky wrote back to Daniel Issa and said the Fed directed us not to provide you, Congress, with the document that it has provided to us. So according to the TARP program, the Congress has no say. The Fed only has last say. They can decide not to hand over any information to the Congress.
Look, Americans are like ducks on a foie gras farm. They just open their gullets and they just stuff lies down there until their livers are too big to sustain life, and then they pluck them out and sell them on eBay. It's disgusting. Stacey Herbert, thanks again for being on the Keiser Report.
Thank you, Max.